Are you a freelancer, service-based business owner who's constantly juggling tasks? You're feeling overworked, barely keeping your head above water? You likely clicked on this video because you're looking for a way out, something to take you from being overwhelmed to being optimized. But what is the SOS framework, and can it really be the lifeline that saves your productivity? In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how the scalable optimization strategy framework, the SOS framework, can transform your workflow and help you reclaim your time and your efficiency. So stick around to the end because I'll show you a free AI tool that will take what you've learned here in this video and guide you through applying the SOS framework step by step for any task or project that you have. I was talking to a friend in one of my mastermind groups. He was overwhelmed, rattling off a long list of tasks he needed to complete. As he spoke, I could see he was headed for a familiar trap, trying to do everything without enough time to do it. I knew this road well because I'd been down it so many times myself. There were days where I never lifted my head to think logically about these tasks that were piling up or the time frame that I had to get them done in. I just assumed that somehow I could get through it all. And rarely, if ever, did that actually work out. So I told my friend something that changed the way he approached his work. What not to do is as important as what you ought to do. I suggested he make a list of everything he thought he needed to get done and then ask himself some critical questions. Which tasks were truly essential for his goals? Which could actually be delegated, deferred, or even deleted? Once he filtered out the noise, I told him that he should prioritize the remaining tasks and assign them either to himself or to someone else. That conversation planted the seed for what eventually became the SOS framework. So what exactly is the SOS framework? Well, it stands for Scalable Optimization Strategy, a structured step-by-step approach designed to take you from feeling overworked and overwhelmed to being an efficient, optimized professional. So whether you're juggling client projects, managing deadlines, or just trying to make sense of the chaos, this framework is built to streamline your tasks, making delegation easier, and help you scale your business without burning out. The purpose of the SOS framework is simple. It's to provide a clear roadmap that helps you identify what's most important. It helps you eliminate inefficiencies and create processes that are not only effective today, but are actually scalable as you grow. It's about taking control of your work and designing a system that supports both productivity and balance. Now, why is this essential for freelancers and service-based owners? Well, because when you're managing everything yourself, the line between being productive and feeling overwhelmed is razor thin. You need a strategy that can cut through the noise, focus your energy, and build repeatable processes that make your work not just manageable, but scalable and sustainable. In the following sections of this video, I'll break down 7 steps of the SOS framework. I call them the 7 R's. These are steps that can transform your daily routine from chaotic and draining to structured and optimized. And trust me, once you've seen how each of these fits together, you'll wonder how you ever managed without it. So let's jump into the heart of the SOS framework, the 7 R's that make this strategy so powerful and effective. Now that you know what the SOS framework is and why it's so crucial for freelancers, now we're going to talk about each one of the 7 R's, understand their importance, and why they're structured in this specific order. Each step builds on the one before it. It creates a strong, scalable system that keeps you productive and balanced. The very first one is recognize. You need to recognize and define your core objectives. The first step is to recognize what truly matters. This means defining your core objectives and identifying the highest impact tasks that align with your goals. Why is this first? Because without knowing what your main priorities are, you'll be caught in the cycle of working hard but not effectively. Recognizing what tasks are essential helps set the foundation for everything that follows in this video. This is where you've determined what can actually be deleted or deferred. And now you're only focused on what needs to be done by you and delegate it to others. Put them in the order they need to be completed. For instance, if you're a freelancer with a looming project deadline, this step is where you'd recognize that researching this new marketing strategy might need to be deferred. While it's important, it might need to be deferred while you prepare on a project proposal, and that proposal stays on your immediate to-do list. The second R is reduce. You need to reduce, streamline, and simplify processes. Once you've identified what's important, the next step is to reduce the noise. This is about streamlining processes and simplifying your workflow to eliminate unnecessary complexity. Reducing tasks and simplifying steps prevents you from spreading yourself too thin, and it helps you focus on what drives results. This step is second because it ensures you're working smarter, not harder. Number 3 is run. You need to run automations. After you reduced and streamline your processes, it's time to run automation. Automation is the secret weapon that helps you save time and energy on repetitive tasks. Whether it's scheduling social media posts, sending out client follow-up emails, or generating reports, automation ensures consistency and it frees you up to focus on creative and strategic work. This step follows simplification because automating cluttered processes won't help you, it will hurt you. You need a clear, simplified workflow in order to automate effectively. Number 4 is you need to reassign. Reassign tasks to delegate and outsource effectively. You see, this 4th step to reassign tasks, they don't require your unique skill set. Delegating and outsourcing these tasks allow you to concentrate on high-value work that only you can do. This step comes after automation because there may still be tasks that, while not automatable, they don't need your direct involvement. Knowing when and what to delegate can make the difference between feeling productive and feeling overwhelmed. The 5th R is replicate. You need to replicate success with standardized and repeatable workflows. Now that your tasks are automated and delegated where possible, it's actually time to replicate success. You create standardized workflows and templates for repeatable tasks. This ensures consistency and saves you from reinventing the wheel every single time. Replication is the 5th step because by now you should have a clear understanding of what works and you can actually create templates based off that knowledge. The 6th step is how to revamp how you engage with clients and manage your delivery. It's how you fine-tune your communication and client interaction to make it more effective and less time-consuming. You need to batch similar tasks together, limit the frequency and duration of meetings, focus on delivering value with maximum efficiency. Revamping comes at this stage because with a streamlined, automated, and delegated system in place, you can focus on optimizing client-facing aspects without getting bogged down in the back-end processes. So that brings us to number 7, refine. This is where you refine, you review, and you scale. Refine is where you regularly review your processes. You reflect on what's working, you make adjustments as needed, and this step is crucial for scalability because without constant refinement, even the most optimized system can become stagnant. By making small adjustments and scaling up your effective processes, you keep your workflow evolving and aligned with your goals. So refine is the final step because it ties everything together and it sets you up for continuous improvement and growth. So each of these steps are designed to build upon the last. They're creating a powerful framework that helps you move from an overworked freelancer to an optimized professional. And now that you understand the 7 R's of the SOS framework, you can start thinking about how these steps apply to your own work. And now I'm going to actually show you how to apply this framework with a real example and introduce you to a free AI tool that I created that helps make this process even easier. Now, let's make it practical. Imagine being able to apply these steps to any task or project with a little help. And that's where my custom AI tool comes in. It's a tool designed to guide you through applying this SOS framework to your unique workflow. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through an example together. I'm going to show you how to use this tool in real time. Type in a prompt outlining a typical task project, and you'll see how it generates detailed step-by-step plan based off the 7 R's of the SOS framework. This includes everything from recognizing core objectives to refining the process for future scalability. So to begin with, I'm just going to click the button here. It says, hey, I'm ready to get started. So it says, great to hear you're ready to get started with the Scalable Optimization Strategy, SOS. To begin, could you please share details about the specific project or task you want to optimize, including current steps you take in the order you typically perform them. This will help guide us through the SOS framework to improve your workflow efficiently and effectively. So let's do that. Now I have something prepared here, so I'm going to paste it in. So I'm going to just paste in what I had here talking about YouTube video workflow. And so I simply say I create 2 YouTube videos a week. Here's my current workflow. I'm talking about topic selection and research, video title, thumbnail design and title, the outline, script writing, recording setup, recording the video, editing, publishing, reviewing. And so it gives us a response immediately. Thank you for sharing your current workflow. Let's use the SOS framework to optimize your process step by step. Here's how we can apply each element to streamline your work. Step-by-step application of the SOS framework. Number 1, recognize. Identify core objectives. The primary goal is to maximize your time for creative and high-impact tasks while ensuring consistent video quality and audience engagement. Core task, high impact, topic selection and research, script writing, recording, publishing. So you can see it took the items that I had here and determined which ones had the most impact, right? So it didn't have editing in here. It says things to outsource potentially: thumbnail design, video editing, engagement, and monitoring. Next R is reduce, where we streamline and simplify processes. It talks about things we could potentially batch process, like topic selection. So dedicate 1 day per month for brainstorming and researching all topics. Titles and thumbnails, create and use templates for faster design and drafting. Streamline setup. Keep a fixed record setup to minimize adjustments each time. Template scripts. Use structured templates for your scripts, saving time during writing. All right, then gives us a third R, which is run, where we automate repetitive tasks. Tells us we can use automation tools, things like TubeBuddy or vidIQ, right? Tells us how we can schedule it and then actually set up reports based off of our different intervals that we want to do analytics on. The next step, number 4, tells us to reassign how we should delegate these tasks and which ones it recommends that we delegate. So again, never let AI do your thinking for you, but definitely use it as a starting point. It's just like, hey, here's what I have, and that's what this tool is for. Here's what I have, here's what I'm currently doing, and then based off that, you can actually have conversations, and we'll go through that in just a little bit here. So you can actually design your thumbnail, hand that off to a graphic designer or actually a thumbnail designer, potentially a skilled VA, video editing, hire a professional editor, and then also a VA could handle the initial comment responses, compile feedback if you didn't want to do that yourself. Again, this example is just one to make YouTube videos. As a freelancer, if you're not doing content creation yet, that's something you probably should do. I highly recommend it. But the whole point of this is not about trying to figure out this one particular flow. This is an example that you can plug in any of your current workflows or even just a list of tasks you need to do. And then it'll give you suggestions. You can come back through and say, well, actually, that won't work for this or this won't work for the other, and actually have full-on conversations. But this is a great starting point where it uses this SOS framework with these 7 R's and gets you to a point to have these really important conversations so that at the end, you can actually have an action plan you can take. So number 5 here was simply to replicate, which again is to standardize repeat workflows. So this is talking about potentially creating some checklists or templates. Revamping, which is optimizing the client interaction and engagement. Talks about batching engagement. So, replying to all comments in the videos at a particular time. So instead of like just checking periodically throughout the day. It talks about, hey, even if you wanted some pre-written responses, things to actually save time there. Especially if you're getting the same type of questions via email, right? So this is more for YouTube comments, I guess. But to me, this is like really beneficial if you're responding to email. You have a very common question that you're asked, and you've made a post on it or a video on it or whatever else, you can actually send people to that in your response. And of course, the last was to actually refine, and that's reviewing continually. So the other great thing this thing does is it actually generates this grid for you with a time frame that it thinks that you're trying to do this stuff on, the task itself, and the description, and then who it recommends you assigns to, whether you should be the one doing it or if you should outsource it. And if you're going to outsource it, who you should outsource it to. But you can take a look at this and say, oh, well, for example, let's say, okay, I have a VA and I'm considering getting a YouTube strategist. I'm fine to hire a thumbnail designer and a video editor. Right. So I have this, but I'm considering getting a YouTube strategist. How does this alter the suggestions? And you see it and just have a conversation with, this is like regular AI. Obviously, this isn't anything, any kind of rocket science here. All the hard work's done by ChatGPT in this case. But the great thing is, it gives you some starting point. You can think through it and then kind of push back on things that you want to push back on, say things that you feel are invalid, get its input. What I found really beneficial when utilizing AI is to help me think through things. It's like having somebody you can talk to without burdening them with something they might not care about. So that's really where it's been extremely beneficial. But you can see it pretty much comes up with all this stuff and it actually regenerates now this grid, right? Where it's like, okay, now you need to have a strategy session with you and your YouTube strategist. And then you can hand those things off to your thumbnail designer. Then you can edit the content for consistent style and quality and send that off to your video editor, right? VA can do the engagement monitoring. And of course, you'll be the one that does the outlines and the actual scripting the videos. And of course, if I wanted to say, well, I want to have a script writer, right? I could put that in there, and then all of a sudden it would say, well, you need to make sure you have time to actually coordinate with the script writer, but then they would actually be doing the ones with the script or whatever. So hopefully this is beneficial to see, and I highly encourage you to grab this. Let me go ahead and jump back to my main camera here. So if you're excited to try this out for yourself and take your freelance workflow from overworked to optimized, I've made it simple. Just head over to chd.to/SOS. And by signing up, you'll get an email with a link to access the tool absolutely free. It's designed to help you apply the SOS framework to any task or any project and helps you streamline the entire process. And once you've tried it, I would love to hear from you. Share your experience using the tool in the comments below. Let me know if there's something you'd like to see that could be improved or added. I really appreciate your feedback, and I'm always looking for ways to make resources even better for freelancers like you. But you need to remember, the journey from being an overworked freelancer to an optimized pro isn't just about knowing the steps. It's about having the right tools to apply them effectively. The SOS framework and this AI tool together can make that journey smoother. It can make it more efficient and ultimately more rewarding.